from Plymouth. I don't really know where to start, Michael. A dramatic and heartbreaking afternoon.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously the first sort of 10-15 minutes or so of the game were forgettable from my point of view. We were nowhere near as aggressive as you have to be to win games, especially away from home. And we got punished for that. The reaction they showed was really, really good. I questioned one of the two of their attitude midweek in the first half, not the second half, but to be fair, they sort of come to the fore today, and they shown a good attitude and good spirit to get back into the game. I suppose the frustrations are, we drag ourselves back into the game, we go ahead in the game, we have a couple of opportunities to go 4-2 up, which probably just shows the lack of clinical edge that we've got as a group at the minute. We have a big chance at 3-3 with Brennan that we have to score, and then obviously the disappointment of conceding, as late as what we did.
Yeah, and is it, when you get to that 3-2 point, is it when you haven't got someone like Liam in your team, an experienced player that can help talk the younger players through and get you through those difficult moments?
Yeah, I think so. You hear me say it, sort of quite often really. If you can't take the 3 points, just make sure you don't take, 0 points. And, whether it's a Liam Bridcutt or, a Joe Walsh in the team, and even as late as it was, obviously him having to come off the pitch, George Grant. George isn't sort of renowned such as someone who's going to get fired into people with his voice or actually his aggression as a tackle, but he is a calming influence on the group, and he knows to patrol people and get people in the right areas and pull people around at times. And obviously we've lost that. And if I'm being honest with you, I said to my staff then that I'm more concerned now I've sort of calmed down a little bit. I'm more concerned about the health of George Grant, rather than the fact that we just threw away possibly 3 points or a point.
Well, can I ask you about the situation with George? We had the advantage, if that's the right phrase. It doesn't feel like it. We saw what happened. He stood on his ankle, turned his ankle, and the ball actually hit him. And precisely that moment, he couldn't have been worse timed. How is he? Yeah,
he's obviously in a bit of pain at the minute. He's sore. He's got the ice packs on, as you can imagine. Obviously, them type of injuries, they do swell quite badly. So it doesn't help that we've got a 5.5 hour journey back to Lincoln, I suppose. But he'll be looked after with the ice and stuff, with the game ready between now and then. I'll be amazed if they have a scan on Monday, because I'll be surprised that the swelling will be sufficient in terms of being able to see what's going on, whether there's a bit of ligament damage or whatever it may be. So hopefully he's just rolled his ankle, and the swelling will subside over the next couple of days, and we can get a bigger picture and better picture of what he's done. But it is a little bit of a worry.
It's the balance for you now as a manager, not to, and the players, not to beat yourself up too much, because, as you said, games are coming thick and fast, and yes, you're right to be disappointed with the start of the game and the end of the game, but you have so many games coming up. You don't want to sort of put yourself in a mood going into Tuesday night that's not going to help you out.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I thought that like, if you sort of, I know you can't do it, and stay with me on this one, but if you take the actual goals out of both sides, I thought we were excellent for 75 minutes. You take the first 15 minutes out of it, especially in that second half, the first 30-35 minutes of the second half, we were very, very good. We just weren't clinical enough, and I use this phrase to the players quite a lot, but we almost started enjoying the game too much. And for me, when you start doing that, you lose a little bit of your edge as a player, and that's where you've got to be ruthless and clinical. And just think, like say, with one or two more sort of senior players potentially playing today, they would have got that message to the players, in a way that would have helped them rather than destroy them.
Yeah, we felt at times some of the attacking football was the best we played, probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, amongst the best we played this campaign.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah, it was definitely up there, and hence we get the couple of goals, albeit through penalties. But you know, obviously we missed some sort of crucial chances as well at that time in the period in the game where you can finish them off, because if you go 4-2 up, the game's done, and you know, really, if you go 3-2 up after being 2-0 down, the game should be done. But you know, the footballer's got a funny way of you know slapping on your face when you think you've dealt with it and you're doing it well. But you've only got to see, I mean, some of the results that have obviously come in today. You know, it's hard to win games of football. You know, ask the lads, you know, all them teams who drew today, and you know, find it difficult because pressures come with it. But we've got a group that'll bounce back. You know, and for us to get 57 points after 30 games, I would have snapped your hand off if you said that to me at the start of the season, and I would have snapped your hand if you said it to me after 5 games, 10 games, 15, 20 and 25, but I wouldn't have after 30 just because of the place that we were in. So yeah, it's a good chance to sort of reset, regroup. The next few games are going to be important. We've got some home games in there, and a couple of like really important away games.
It may seem a little churlish, but the number 18 forwarder for Plymouth, we thought he should have been sent off. He pulled back. Brennan got a yellow card, did the same thing 10 minutes later, and no reaction from the referee. Yeah,
and I think obviously the fact that you know they brought the player off at half time says everything that you know you need to be said about that one. How someone can be booked for you know something like you said first, initially pulling back and almost like a rugby tackle, and then the same player just get a talking to for doing exactly the same thing where Brennan was through was disappointing.
So I guess, you know, obviously he's hugely disappointed, didn't really need a 5.5 hour journey home, but looking to your team and how they've been this season, they've tended to bounce back from these disappointments pretty quickly.
Yeah, they have, and you know, that's part of being a successful side, and that's what we're going to have to do. And you know, I think the good thing about today, if there is a good thing, I think it allows us all to not get carried away and look too far ahead. I think it's important that we just literally take either a game or a group of games at a time and almost like, you know, listen, what's got us here? You know, why are the reasons that we played ever so well and picked up points and won games? And as long as we do that over the next 2 or 3 games, you know, we'll pick up some valuable points.